Well, listen, it is profoundly dangerous. There are over 100,000 Russian troops that are massed on the Ukrainian border. This weekend, the Biden administration declassified their own assessment that an invasion is imminent, and that it could come as early as January or February of next year. And candidly, the administration is trying to prepare everyone for the very substantial possibility of a Russian invasion of Ukraine. The thing to understand: this is Joe Biden's fault. It's Joe Biden's fault for two reasons. Number one, you mentioned just a minute ago, the disaster of Afghanistan, the weakness that Biden showed surrendering to the Taliban. Every enemy of America took a measure of the man in the Oval Office, and that same surrender that we've seen to the Taliban, the rest of the enemies of America were emboldened by that surrender. But secondly, Biden very specifically surrendered to Putin on Nord Stream 2. Now, why does Nord Stream 2 matter? Nord Stream 2 is a pipeline that Russia is building to go directly from Russia to Germany. They're doing it because they want to bypass Ukraine. In 2014, Putin invaded Ukraine, invaded Crimea, but didn't continue to invade the rest of the country, didn't go all the way to Kiev. Why? Because right now the Russian natural gas goes through Ukraine, through Ukrainian energy infrastructure to get to Europe. And if they had invaded Ukraine, the Ukrainians could have destroyed that pipeline and cut off their ability to get to market. So Nord Stream 2 is all about enabling Russia to cut Ukraine out of the transit loop in order for them to march the tanks, drive the tanks into downtown Kiev. In 2019, I authored bipartisan legislation, sanctions on Nord Stream 2, passed both houses of Congress. President Trump signed it into law, and the day that my legislation was signed into law, Putin stopped construction of the pipeline. It lay dormant for over a year until Joe Biden got elected.
Why would he do that?
Because they want to make nice to Germany. The Biden foreign policy team, you just showed Jake Sullivan. I've joked that their foreign policy team sleeps with votive candles of Angela Merkel under their beds. And Merkel really wants this pipeline. But the timing is stunning. Biden was sworn into office on January 20th, 2021. Putin began building the pipeline again on January 24th, 2021, 4 days after Biden was sworn into office. Biden waived the sanctions that I had authored, that we had imposed on Nord Stream 2, waived it. At the time he waived it this summer, both Ukraine and Poland said publicly that by waiving the sanctions, Biden was creating a military threat to Ukraine from Russia. And let me tell you, Harris, Biden could stop this today if he simply revokes the sanctions, revokes the waiver, and imposes sanctions. And he's unwilling to do so. If we see tanks in the streets of Kiev, it will be because Joe Biden surrendered to Putin.